Welcome back, game design students. So here you have a floor section, and I'm just going to show you how to export that so we can use it in Unreal. The first thing you should do, obviously, is apply materials to each face that's going to have a different material. In this case, this object is just going to have one material, and it does have a material on it, the default Lambert material. I'm going to go ahead and assign a new material to it. Doesn't really matter what the material is, whether it's a Lambert or whatever. And I'm going to name it, because all I really want here is a material channel so that I can use it in it once I get into Unreal. If your object already has materials and textures on it, you need to go ahead and name the materials that are on it, whatever they are. Just make sure you name them so that they make sense to you. And you should also name each object that you're going to export. And if your asset consists of multiple objects, you need to name each component something that makes sense. And that doesn't make sense because this is a floor. You just don't want your assets going into the game engine as box 1, box 2, box 5696. That will make it very difficult to deal with once you get into the game engine and start trying to build your environment. So once you've got that done, select your object, or objects, depending on how many you have and what your item is. And don't select any cameras or lights or anything, or ground planes or anything else in the scene, just the objects that make up your asset. And you're going to go to File, Export Selection. And that should default to your project folder in the Scenes folder of your project folder. And you're going to name it. I always like to give it a suffix, like 01 or something. And then you're going to want to come down here and change this to FBX. And once you do that, you'll get options here. You're going to want to check smoothing groups, and you're going to want to check embed media for sure. And then right here where it says FBX file format, you want to make sure that you're using 2016-17. Now the reason I say that is because when I exported my water fountain object to Unreal using a newer version, it just broke my mesh. But when I used 2016-17, it worked. And I found that on a forum. Once you've done that, click Export Selection, and that shouldn't take very long at all. Now once you're in Unreal 5, you'll get this default level. I'm going to create a new level, and I'm going to make it a empty level, not a open world level, an empty level, and click Create. And then in here we're going to put the basic lights that we need. I'm going to put our directional light, our skylight. Going to put in the reflection captures by searching that. I can never remember where it is, the sphere reflection captures. And if you want a sky, you need to add sky atmosphere. Okay, now we can import our items. So in here, you're going to click Import, and then you're going to navigate to where you place them. Here they are, floor and wall. Just going to click both of them and click Open. Now then you're going to get this dialog. Now the only thing you need to be concerned with here is under the Advanced tab is Combine Meshes. If your object consists of multiple meshes that you want to be combined, like for example my water fountain had a housing, a drain pan, a nozzle, some push bars. I didn't want to have to assemble all that in the game engine, so I clicked this box. Other than that, that's all you need to do, and you just click Import All. And then inside your content drawer, you will have your objects. Here's the wall, and here's the floor, and here's the two materials that I assigned to them. If you applied textures to your object, you may also have your textures in here. Sometimes they come in correctly, oftentimes they do not. So let's check and see how things worked out here. Here's the floor, and as you can see, the pivot point is embedded in the bottom polygon exactly and centered exactly as I wanted it. And the wall should be the same. Now, because we have the pivot point on the bottom plane in the center here, we can zero out the Z transform, and that will put us on the ground exactly. And the wall will snap right to our floor, and because of the units that we made it, and because it's the same scale, it will snap perfectly. And when we come back in the next video, I'll show you how to put textures on your objects, and I'll see you then.